Imagine this. It's a crisp autumn evening, the kind where the leaves crunch under your boots like brittle bones. You're finally home after a grueling day, keys jingling in your hand, that sweet sigh of relief escaping your lips as you twist the lock. Your dream house, the house you clawed your way into with every drop of sweat and every sleepless night. But before you can even step inside, the door explodes inward, wood splinters like gunfire. 3 figures burst through, faces twisted in rage, swinging baseball bats that whistle through the air like vengeful scythes. Your parents, your sister, the people who raised you, now storming your sanctuary like invaders from hell itself. One bat cracks against your coffee table, the one you built with your own hands, sending shards flying like shrapnel. "Sell it," your father bellows, veins bulging in his neck like rivers about to flood. "Or we'll make you!" Your mother, eyes wild with desperation, grips her bat so tight her knuckles bleach white. And your sister? She's in the corner, smirking like she owns the wreckage, because in her twisted world, she does. This wasn't a random break-in. This was family, my family, demanding I torch my entire life to bail out their golden child's $150,000 black hole of debt. To dangerous people, they said, voices dripping with that fake terror that only comes from years of entitlement. 5 years they'd ghosted me, cut me off cold for daring to protect my own $120,000 nest egg from her last disaster. And now, this. But here's the twist that kept me alive in that moment, heart slamming against my ribs like a caged animal. I didn't crumble. I didn't beg. I stared into the storm they unleashed and started plotting the hurricane I'd send right back. Stick around, because what happened next? It's the kind of revenge that doesn't just even the score. It shatters the board. If you've ever stared at the people who should love you most and wondered, how could they? If betrayals burned a hole in your chest that no apology can fill, then this story's for you. Hit that like button if family drama hits too close to home. Smash subscribe for more raw, real revenge tales that remind us justice isn't handed out. It's taken. Let's dive in. Let's rewind, because to understand the bats swinging through my door, you have to feel the slow poison that dripped into my veins long before. My name's Alex, short for Alexandra, but I've always hated the frills. Grew up in a split-level rancher in suburban Ohio, the kind of place where the lawns are manicured to military precision and secrets fester like weeds under the sod. Dad was a mid-level accountant, the man who balanced books for faceless corporations, but couldn't tally the emotional deficits in his own home. Mom, a part-time realtor with a smile sharp as a closing contract, always chasing the next commission like it was oxygen. And then there was Emily, my little sister by 3 years, the sun around which our fractured solar system orbited. From the cradle, Emily was special, not in the gifted kid way, but in that fragile porcelain doll sense, where one crack meant the whole world had to shatter to glue her back. She'd cry over a scraped knee like it was amputation, and Dad would drop everything, canceling family dinners, skipping my soccer games, to bandage it with ice cream and "you're my princess" whispers. Mom? She'd coo. "Oh, Emmy's just sensitive, Alex. Be the big girl and let her shine." Me? I was the sturdy oak, the one who didn't wilt. Straight A's without flashcards, varsity track without the glory. The kid who mowed neighbors' lawns at 12 to buy her own bike, because asking for Dad's hand-me-down felt like begging. It wasn't resentment, not at first. It was just equilibrium. I absorbed the hits so Emily could float. High school blurred by in a haze of her drama. Boyfriends who ghosted, auditions that flopped. And I'd be the one forging notes for her skipped classes, the alibi for her midnight escapes. College. I scraped scholarships and waitressed doubles at the diner, grease stains on my jeans while she partied on Dad's loan that never got repaid. Graduated with a business degree, no fanfare. She dropped out of community college after 1 semester, tears streaming as Mom hugged her. "It's okay, baby. The world's not ready for you yet." By 25, I was bootstrapping my way into tech, coding apps for small startups in a cramped Columbus apartment that smelled of ramen and Resolve. Emily? At 22, she had her big idea, a boutique bakery. Gluten-free, vegan, artisanal, it's the future. She'd gush, eyes sparkling like she'd invented fire. Dad fronted $50,000 from their savings. Our savings. the ones Mom skimped on groceries for. I watched from the sidelines, biting my tongue as the loans piled up, equipment that rusted, leases that leaked, marketing that fizzled. 6 months in, bankruptcy, Emily sobbed on the kitchen floor, mascara rivers down her cheeks. "I just wanted to make people happy," she'd wail. And me? I was saving, every penny from freelance gigs, socked away in a high-yield account that grew like a quiet rebellion, $120,000 by 28. My war chest. My proof that I didn't need their spotlights to glow. It hit like a sucker punch on a Tuesday night. Family dinner at the old rancher, roast chicken congealing under fluorescent lights, the air thick with unspoken IOUs. Emily slouched in her chair, picking at peas, while Dad cleared his throat like he was announcing a funeral. "Alex, honey," he started, voice gravelly from years of chain-smoking regrets. "Emmy's got another shot. A real one this time. Eco-fashion line. Sustainable, you know? But she needs seed money. Investors are circling, but upfront costs." Mom jumped in, her realtor smile strained at the edges. "It's a $20,000, sweetheart. Your savings would cover it perfect. You'd be saving her, saving us." My fork clattered against the plate, the sound echoing like a gavel. Heat crawled up my neck, a flush that tasted like bile. My savings? The ones I earned? For her third flop? My voice cracked. Not from weakness, but from the sheer absurdity pressing on my chest like a boot. Emily's eyes welled up instantly. Weaponized tears, crystal clear and manipulative as hell. "Alex, please. You're my sister. Family helps family." She reached across the table, fingers like limp vines, but I jerked back, the chair scraping linoleum like nails on a chalkboard. Dad's face darkened, that vein in his temple pulsing. "It's not a flop. It's an investment in her future. What kind of daughter turns her back on blood?" The room shrank, walls closing in with the weight of their stares. Mom's pleading puppy eyes, Emily's quivering lip, Dad's barely contained thunder. My heart hammered, a frantic bird against cage bars. This is it, I thought. They're not asking. They're demanding. "No," I said, the words solid as steel, tasting like freedom and fallout. "That's my future. Find another way." Silence, then chaos. Dad slammed his fist, the table shuddering, silverware jumping like startled insects. "Ungrateful. After everything we've done," Mom gasped, hand to her throat like I'd poisoned the wine. Emily wailed, burying her face in her arms, shoulders heaving in that theatrical way that always melted them. I stood, chair toppling with a thud that vibrated up my legs. "Everything you've done? Like raising me to be your ATM?" The words hung sharp as shattered glass. I grabbed my coat, the fabric rough against my clammy palms, and walked out into the night. Streetlights blurred through hot tears I refused to let fall. In the car, engine rumbling like my rage, I gripped the wheel until my fingers ached. "They'll come around," I told myself, the lie bitter on my tongue. Family forgives. They didn't. The cutoff was surgical, swift as a guillotine. No calls, no texts. Mom's Facebook unfriended me overnight, her profile pic still beaming from some yacht vacation Emily deserved after the bakery dust-up. Dad's emails to my work inbox bounced, marked family emergency, but really just radio silence. Emily? She launched her fashion line anyway, on their credit cards, racking up $80,000 before the fabrics yellowed in warehouses and sustainable turned to salvage. 5 years. 5 years of that void. Birthdays passed in takeout solitude, my apartment walls echoing with the ghosts of Thanksgivings past. I'd scroll their group chats hacked from an old iPad, Emily's selfies in knockoff designer, Dad's proud emojis, Mom's captions, my girl conquering the world. Each one a knife twist, reopening the scar. I'd curl on the couch, knees to chest, the chill of isolation seeping through like winter draft. Why them, not me? The question gnawed, a rat in the walls, powerless, invisible. The sturdy oak, finally splintering, but roots run deep. I channeled it and that ache into fuel. Nights blurred into code marathons, caffeine veins pulsing as I built my first app. A niche tool for remote teams, syncing schedules with AI smarts. Beta testers trickled in, then flooded. By year 2, revenue hit 6 figures. I moved. Not to a mansion, but to a cozy 2-bedroom in a quiet suburb, the kind with a white picket fence I painted myself, blisters beating like badges of honor. The house. God, the house. I'd found it on a whim. A fixer-upper Victorian on the edge of town, sagging porches and wallpaper peeling like old skin, but with bones that whispered potential. $250,000, all mine after a ruthless down payment from app sales. Weekends became battlegrounds, sanding floors until my hands bled raw, the grit embedding under nails like war paint. I'd blast old rock anthems, sweat-stinging eyes, and think, this is mine. No strings, no beggars at the gate. By year 4, it gleamed. Hardwood floors buffed to a warm glow. Kitchen island where I'd host myself with candlelit dinners. Backyard garden blooming wild and free. It wasn't just shelter. It was sovereignty. My $500,000 kingdom, mortgage ticking down with every paycheck. Success snowballed. The app evolved into a suite, project management, analytics, the works. Investors sniffed around, venture capital wolves in bespoke suits. I turned down the sharks, bootstrapped harder. Year 5, a pivot to enterprise software, licensing deals with Fortune 500s. My bank account swelled to 7 figures, but I stayed grounded, volunteering at coding boot camps for underprivileged kids, the ones like young me, sturdy oaks in the shade. Pay it forward, I'd tell them, voice steady. But inside, a quiet roar. See? I didn't need you. Then, the call came. October 14th, a Thursday. Rain lashing windows like accusatory fingers. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. Unknown number. I almost let it ring, intuition prickling like static, but something twisted in my gut. Answered. Alex? Dad's voice, ragged as torn burlap. We need to talk. Now. The line crackled with unspoken debts. About? It's Emily. She's in trouble. Deep. A pause, heavy as lead. Bad people. Loans. $150,000. They're threatening her. My blood iced over, fingers numbing around the phone. Dangerous people. The words slithered, evoking shadowed alleys and switchblades. But beneath, the same old script. What do you want, Dad? Sell the house. It's appreciated, right? Cover it. Save her. Laughter bubbled up, sharp and hollow, echoing in my empty chest. Sell my house? For her mess? After 5 years of nothing? Mom's voice cut in, speakerphone, her realtor polish cracking. Alexandra, please, she's your blood. Those men. They're not like us. Tattoos, guns. She didn't mean... Mean to what? Borrow from sharks for her 4th empire? A crystal healing spa this time? Vegan yoga retreats? Sarcasm dripped, venomous, but my pulse thrummed with something darker, pity laced with fury. Dad growled low. This isn't a joke. Meet us, tomorrow, or we'll come to you. Click. Silence roared louder than thunder. I paced the living room, floorboards creaking under frantic steps, the rain a relentless drumbeat mirroring my mind. They'd do it. Storm in like they own me. Flashbacks assaulted, Emily's tears always winning, my voice the echo they ignored. Powerlessness surged, hot and choking, fists clenching until nails bit palms. Not this time. I sank to the rug, breath ragged, and plotted. Not with bats, but with blueprints. My empire wasn't just code. It was armor. They arrived at dusk the next day, unannounced, of course. I'd known they would. The old rancher address I'd accidentally left in a mutual friend's ear. But this... My Victorian stood sentinel on its hill, porch light casting long shadows like wary guards. I watched from the bay window, curtains parted just enough. Heard a staccato rhythm, palms slick against the sill. 3 cars crunched gravel, Dad's battered Ford, Mom's sensible sedan, Emily's flashy lease, another investment casualty. They piled out, faces set in grim masks. Dad clutched a manila folder like a talisman. Mom wrung her hands, glancing at shadows as if the dangerous people lurked in the oaks. Emily? She sauntered, phone in hand, texting gods know who. Her yoga-toned arms crossed like she was the victim here. The knock was a battering ram, 3 pounds that shook the frame. I opened slow, chain rattling like a warning. What is this? Dad shouldered forward, eyes bloodshot, breath reeking of cheap scotch even through the screen. Let us in, Alex. We talk inside. No. The word was a wall, unyielding. Wind howled, whipping Mom's hair into frantic Medusa strands. Emily pushed past, voice syrupy venom. Come on, sis, family meeting like old times. She smirked, that same tilt to her lips from childhood chess games she'd cheat to win. Tension coiled, a spring wound too tight. Old times are dead. Say it here. Mom whimpered, rain beating on her coat like tears. Please, honey. It's life or death. Those loans. The spa folded, but the backers... Sharks. Dad spat, folder thrust like a blade. Interest compounded. They want blood if not cash. Sell. Now. Your place is prime. $600K easy. Covers it twice over. Rage bloomed, a slow inferno licking my veins. My house. The blood in these walls. The sweat in every nail. Sell? For her? Spa stones and serenity scams? Get off my property, I said. Voice low thunder, fingers itching for the door slam. Emily laughed, sharp, disbelieving. Property? This McMansion? You think you're hot shit now, huh? Coding apps while I build real dreams? She stepped closer, heels clicking like cockroach skitters. Always the jealous one. Dad? Mom? Tell her. Force her. Force. The word ignited the fuse. Dad's hand shot out, yanking the screen door, chain snapping with a metallic ping that echoed like a gunshot. You owe us! He barreled in, Mom trailing like a shadow, Emily slipping behind with a triumphant hiss. Chaos erupted. They fanned out like conquerors, Dad to the living room bat. No, not yet. But his fists clenched white-knuckled around the folder, slamming it on my mantel, photos spilling. Emily with investors, tattooed arms slung casual over her shoulder, grins feral. Mom to the kitchen, rifling drawers like a thief in her own daughter's home. Papers, Alex. The deed. Where is it? I backed against the wall, pulse roaring in my ears, the air thick with their entitlement stink. Cologne, perfume, desperation. Get out. But my voice wavered, the old powerlessness creeping, legs leaden as childhood froze me. Emily found the liquor cabinet, my single malt, a rare splurge, and poured sloppy shots, splashing oak floors. Lighten up. We're saving you from yourself. She swigged, wiping her mouth with my dish towel, eyes gleaming with that spoiled spark. Remember when you gave me your prom dress? This is bigger. Family tax. Dad rounded on me, face purpled, spittle flecking lips. 5 years you let us rot. Emily could have been a star if not for you. Sell, or we'll list it ourselves. Realtor's license, remember? Mom's got pull. The violation clawed deeper than fists, hands in my space, voices overriding my sanctuary's silence. Mom emerged, deedless, tears streaming. Why are you so selfish? We gave you everything. Everything. The lie detonated. I lunged for the phone, 911 fingers trembling, but Dad snatched it, hurling it against the wall. Crack. Screen spiderwebbed, shards glinting like accusations. That's when Emily spotted them. My baseball bats, propped in the hall closet for intramural league games, relics of college glory. Her eyes lit, mischief to malice in a blink. Oh, looky, tools. She yanked one free, aluminum gleaming cold under the foyer lamp, hefting it like a scepter. "Emmy, no," Mom gasped, but it was theater, half-hearted. Dad snatched the other, grip familiar from backyard whacks at wiffle balls turned tyrannical. Last chance, Alex. The world narrowed to that swing, bats arcing slow motion, whistling air. First crack, my coffee table, heirloom oak from Grandpa's farm, splintering with a snap that ripped through me like flesh tearing. Wood dust billowed, stinging eyes, the scent acrid as betrayal. Emily's followed, shattering a vase, porcelain, shards exploding like fireworks gone wrong. Blue willow pattern I'd thrifted and glued a dozen times. I dodged, back-slamming cabinetry, brass handles biting spine, heart jackhammered, breaths shallow gasps, the room spinning in a vortex of rage and rain-lashed windows. "This is home," my mind screamed, "and they're burning it." Emily advanced, bat-tapping thigh rhythmic as a countdown. "Sell, bitch, or watch it all go." Mom hovered, wringing hands, murmuring, "Stop, please." But her eyes darted to the door. Escape for her, not intervention. Adrenaline surged, a white-hot clarity piercing the fog. I grabbed the nearest weapon, a cast-iron skillet from the counter, heavy as resolve, grip slick, but sure. "Out!" The word was a roar, primal, echoing off vaulted ceilings. Dad swung wild, whoosh, missing my head by inches, embedding in drywall with a thunk that showered plaster like snow. Emily laughed, manic, bat raised for another table coup de grace. But I swung low, skillet connecting with her bat in a clang that reverberated up my arms, vibrations humming bone deep. She yelped, stumbling, the aluminum clattering free. Enough. My voice shattered the frenzy, raw and commanding. They froze, bats midair, breaths heaving. In that suspended breath, I saw it. The crack in their armor. Dad's eyes widened, not with fury, but flicker of fear. Mom's hands dropped, trembling. Emily scrambled back, butt hitting the island, eyes saucer wide. "Get out," I repeated, skillet, raised like a scepter, voice steady now, laced with the steel I'd forged in silence. Or I call the cops. Assault, breaking and entering, family or not. They deflated, bats dropping with hollow clunks, folders forgotten. Dad muttered curses, slinking to the door, Mom trailing with whimpers. Emily last, snatching her phone, shooting daggers. "You'll regret this. Those guys, they'll come for you next." The door clicked shut, rain swallowing their retreat. I slid down the wall, skillet clattering, sobs racking silent at first, then guttural. Shards crunched under me, pain blooming in palms from gripping too tight. They came, with bats, to my home. The injustice burned, a bonfire in my gut, betrayal's aftertaste sour as bile. But beneath, a spark. Not defeat, but declaration. No more. That night, I didn't sleep. Curled on the ruined couch, flashlight app casting ghostly glows over the wreckage, I plotted. Not vengeance wild and reckless. No, calculated, poetic. They'd weaponized family. I'd weaponized success. My company, on the cusp of a Series A round, 10 million valuation whispers from VCs. But now, I'd accelerate, turn their dangerous people into my leverage. First light, I called my lawyer, steel-haired Elena, who'd clawed her way from public defender to Shark Tank. Trespassers, armed, record it all. She hummed approval. Filing reports before coffee cooled. Police came. Statements taken amid the debris, photos flashing like paparazzi at a scandal. "Press charges?" the officer asked, notepad poised. "Not yet," I said, smile thin as a blade, "but keep the file warm." Cleanup was catharsis, broom sweeping shards like sins, each scritch a exorcism. By noon I was at my desk, laptop humming, code flowing like blood from a fresh cut. Emails to investors, urgent pivot, market dominance opportunity, calls to mentors, double down, now. The app suite, I infused it with new fire, AI modules for debt tracking, risk assessment, the irony not lost as fingers flew keys. Weeks blurred into a warpath. Emily's sharks? I traced them. Not mobsters, but high-interest lenders, the kind preying on dreamers like her. A quick hack, ethical, Elena approved, pulled records, $150K principal, ballooned to $220K with fees. But leverage? They hated exposure. One anonymous tip to a consumer protection blog. Vulnerable entrepreneurs targeted. And suddenly, regulators circled like vultures. Meanwhile, family fallout festered. Voicemails piled. Dad's gruff pleas. Think of your mother. Mom's sobbing. We're sorry, just scared. Emily's venom. Karma's a bitch, sis. I deleted without listening. Each erase a chain snapped, but the underestimation, it fueled me. They saw the sturdy oak, unbreakable, but blind to the roots delving deep, branches reaching for storms. Turning point came at month 2. A board meeting in my sunlit office, now expanded to a loft overlooking the city, skyline jagged as my resolve. VCs in tailored suits, nodding at projections. 50 million valuation, I pitched, voice velvet over steel. We're not just software, we're the shield against chaos. Slides flipped, growth charts spiking like heartbeats, user testimonials glowing. The lead investor, a silver fox ex-Google, eyes sharp as scalpels, leaned in. What's the personal drive here? Feels visceral. I paused, breath steady, the room's AC humming soft. Flash to bats cracking wood, Emily's smirk fracturing. Family taught me, protect what's yours, ruthlessly. Laughter rippled, nervous, admiring. By close handshakes sealed it, $20 million infusion. My empire crowned. But revenge? It brewed patient a slow scotch. I hired a PI, discreet ex-cop with a nose for dirt. Dossiers arrived, Dad's gambling slips, $30K down the drain at tracks. Mom's side hustles, flipping foreclosures with shady liens. Emily's spa, a Ponzi light, clients, her sorority sisters, now ghosting her Insta. The debts, intertwined, family web sticky as spider silk. Planning phase. I scripted it like code. Inputs their hubris, outputs humiliation. Step 1, the lure. A forged email from Elena Legal, CC'd to all. Settlement offer property dispute. Meet at neutral site. November 15th, the Grandiose Hotel, 7 p.m. Non-negotiable. They bit, hook, line, desperation. I arrived early, corner booth in the opulent lounge. Crystal chandeliers dripping light like liquid gold. Jazz piano tinkling soft irony. Heart steady, but palms damp against linen napkin. This is for the table, I thought. Splinter ghosts in my mind. For the vase. For 5 years stolen. They shuffled in. Disheveled trio. Dad's tie askew. Mom's makeup caked over hollows. Emily in yoga pants that screamed downward spiral. Eyes darted, spotting me. Hesitation, then approach, dragging chairs like chains. Alex, Dad grunted, sliding in, folder redux clutched. This about the house? I smiled, cool, curator of calm. And more, drink? Tumblers arrived. Scotch neat for me, their poisons of choice. Small talk curdled quick. Emily's barbs. Nice threads. App money. Mom's probes. You look well, dear. Dad cut through. The offer? I leaned forward, voice a scalpel. First, apologies. Real ones, for the bads. The demands. The silence. Awkward mumbles. Dad's heat of the moment. Mom's sniffle. Emily's eye roll. Not enough. Not yet. Then the pivot. I slid a tablet across, screen aglow. My pitch deck. But before we settle, see what you've missed. Slides cascaded. App metrics soaring. Headlines. Alex Tech hits $50 valuation. Their faces shifted. Confusion to covet. Emily's jaw slack. 50 million? Dad rasped. Scotch forgotten. Give or take. Casual shrug. But inside, Triumph's ember flaring, and that's post-funding. But here's the kicker. Your debts? Handled. Emily bolted upright, nails digging tablecloth. What? How? Paid off, in full. $220K wired this morning. Proof. Transaction screenshot. Timestamp fresh. Mom gasped, hand fluttering to pearls. Dad's eyes narrowed, suspicion warring gratitude. But why? Emily spat, voice shrill as shattering glass. After you let us twist? I met her gaze, unblinking, the lounge's murmur fading to our storm. Because blood's thicker than bats, but strings attached. The claws. Contracts. Not for money, oh no, for them. Emily. Indentured consultant at my firm. 6 months, entry-level data entry, no glam, just grind. Learn real work, sis, or the sharks circle back. Dad, financial advisor role. Ironic, auditing his own ledgers under my CFO's eye. Mom, outreach coordinator, cold calling leads in sensible flats, her realtor schmooze repurposed. Indentured? Emily hissed, face twisting ugly, cheeks flushing beet, lips curling in that spoiled snarl. You bitch! This is revenge! Bingo! The word dropped, heavy as the bats they'd wielded. I rose, napkin tossed like a gauntlet. Sign or walk. Debts reappear. And that dangerous file goes public, with photos. Dad's hand trembled on the pen, ink blot blooming like his regrets. Mom signed silent, tears plopping paper. Emily last, scrawling furious, bat eyes promising war. They left diminished, shoulders slumped, the hotel doors whooshing shut like slammed coffins. I lingered, scotch warming throat, the jazz piano swelling triumphant. Justice, I thought, chest loosening for the first time in years, not destruction, but dismantling. Their empire of entitlement, reduced to my footnotes. But oh, that wasn't the crescendo. No. The real symphony of schadenfreude hit at the 6-month mark. Holiday party at my new HQ. A gleaming glass tower piercing the Columbus skyline. Fairy lights twinkling like stars I'd stolen from their sky. 200 strong, devs in hoodies, execs in power suits, laughter bubbling, champagne fresh. I'd transformed, tailored black dress hugging curves earned in boardrooms, not boutiques, hair swept in victory waves. Mirror check, eyes bright, no shadows, ready. They arrived fashionably late, invited via terse email, family obligation, attendance mandatory. Dad in ill-fitting slacks, tie knotted crooked as his morals. Mom in a blouse 2 seasons out, smile brittle as autumn leaves. Emily, worst. Yoga leggings under a thrift store blazer, hair frizzed from fluorescent lit commutes, nails bitten to nubs from data entry drudgery. The room hushed as they entered, whispers rippling like pond stones. Heads turned. The family? My team knew snippets, vague, estranged tales over beers. But tonight? Full reveal. I intercepted at the hors d'oeuvres, flute in hand, smile a velvet blade. Glad you made it. Meet the crew. Awkward handshakes, Dad's palm clammy, gripping too hard. Mom's limp fish, eyes downcast. Emily's glare daggers, but dulled by defeat. Circled the room. Intros to VCs. This is the team that hit unicorn status. Devs. Saved our asses on that deadline. Even the janitor crew. Unsung heroes. Each nod, each pleasure. Ground salt into their wounds. Their servitude visible in every averted glance. Dinner plated. Filet mignon for all. But theirs. Catered irony. Vegan slop for Emily's principles, watery scotch for Dad's habit, decaf for Mom's jitters. They poked at it, forks scraping porcelain like accusations. Conversation? Minefield. So, Alex, Dad ventured, voice gruff over clinking silver. Companies, big now? Understatement. I speared a bite, savoring the sear. QR projections, 100-manor revenue. Your audits helped, Dad. Caught that ledger slip. Your old tricks, huh? His fork froze midair, face draining ash gray. Mom choked on decaf, coughing into napkin. Emily slammed her water, splash arcing like mini geyser. This is bullshit. Parading us like trophies? Head swiveled, party murmur dipping to stunned silence. The lead VC, Silver Fox again, arched a brow. Trophies? Context? I leaned back, chair creaking soft authority. Family, the ones who taught me resilience. Bats and all. Laughter tittered, nervous then genuine, as I spun the yarn. not the raw gore but the glossed grit, stormed my home, demanded my life's work for their debts. Now, they're paying dues. Literally. Gasps rippled, sympathy swells, nods of damn right. Emily bolted up, chair screeching betrayal loud. You told them? About the bats? Debts? Your spa scam? I finished, voice silk over shiv. Water cooler lore. Builds character. The room erupted, claps, whoops, a dev yelling, Queen shit! Emily's face contorted. Red to purple, lips trembling fury, eyes glassy with humiliated tears. She lunged, not with bats but words. You're nothing without us. Jealous hag, hoarding your code crap while Dad yanked her down, hissing, Sit! But too late. Mom buried face in hands, shoulders quaking silent sobs. The VCs, they watched, amused sharks scenting blood. Not theirs, but the trio's unraveling. I rose, glass raised, voice carrying crystal clear. To family, the forge that tempers or breaks. Tonight, we toast the unbreakable, cheers thundered, glasses clinking like victory bells, confetti cannons, my whim, bursting glitter rain. They sat islands in the storm, Dad staring at his plate, fork limp, Mom dabbing eyes, mascara rivers, Emily seething, fists balled white under the table. Post-toasts, the real daggers, mingling. A junior exec cornered Dad. Heard you're on ledgers. Ever gamble the books? Chuckles. Mom fielded pity. Outreach must be tough. Cold calls kill the soul. Emily. Worst, a cluster of interns buzzing. Data entry? Been there. Soul-sucking, right? But hey, steps to something real. Her responses? Snaps and stammers, each one eroding her porcelain poise. By dessert, tiramisu towers, their plates barren, I approached final time. Satisfied? The word dripped condescension, sweet as cream. Dad looked up, eyes hollowed husks. This enough? Lesson learned? Counter. He nodded, slow, defeated. Mom whispered, We're proud. Truly. Emily? Silent storm, but her glare cracked. Defiance fracturing to something raw. Envy, maybe regret. Merry Christmas, I said, turning away, the party's pulse reclaiming me. Their exit? Unnoticed, slipping out coattails, rain-slicked and shrunken. I watched from the window, city lights haloing their retreat. Inside, elation crashed, tears hot and unbidden, not sorrow but release. Chest heaved, breaths ragged gasps of finally. The validation washed, cool as rain after fire. I won. Not despite them, with their shadows sharpening my light. Back in the fray, dances swirled, laughter liberated. But in quiet pockets, solo sips by the bar, I felt it, the arc complete. Betrayal's bruise faded to scar, strong and silvered. Justice, not a blaze but a steady burn, warming, not consuming. In the end, karma isn't a thunderbolt. It's the quiet grind of gears turning, debts collected in full. Family wounds deepest because they should heal softest. But sometimes, you stitch your own armor. What's your take? Forgive the fractures or forge ahead unbreakable? Whew. If that didn't leave you with chills and a fist pump, I don't know what will. Smash that, like if you've got a family tale that could have used some bats. Or better, brains. Drop in the comments. What's the sweetest revenge you've pulled off or witnessed? Spill it, we're all ears. And hey, subscribe, bell on, for weekly dives into the delicious drama of real life turned legend. Thanks for riding this roller coaster. See you next story. Stay vengeful, stay victorious.